Good evening, ladies and gents. Welcome to another edition of Encrypted Connections. I am your host, Kyle. With me tonight is my co-host, Dewey the Deuster Edwards.
Hello, everybody.
What's up, buddy?
A lot of rough weather today. Still going on.
That's what I'm hearing.
Supposed to go to about 3 o'clock this morning. So if I disappear, my power mail went out. So,
Oh, crap, man. You sent me some pictures of hail that were pretty gigantic.
Yeah, it was about the size of tennis balls. I went out there and wanted to get some bigger ones, but
yeah, that's what she
hailing
said.
so hard. I didn't want to run out there and get killed trying to pick one up. So,
Yeah. Well, I'm just glad you're safe. I know the pictures of the creek behind your house are pretty crazy. I thought that would have been like some major river or something, but nope, just the creek behind your house. Pretty nutty.
It looked like a major river, didn't it?
It did. It looked like I thought I was looking at some major river somewhere. It was crazy, man. Yeah, this weather stuff has been crazy across the country. I mean, Oklahoma's been getting pounded, which is truly sad. Ohio keeps having these tornadoes, or at least these storms that can lead to tornadoes, and you guys have had quite a bit of bad weather. I mean, it's just crazy, man. I don't know what the hell's going on. Maybe it is the 7 years of tribulation. Maybe that's what we're in.
I think it's the 4 years of tribulation. I think the government's the one doing the messing with our weather.
Could be that too. Could be that too. Absolutely. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for being here. I'm wiped, man. I'm tired. I'm very, very tired. Didn't sleep much the last few nights. I've been working on stuff. Working on stuff for work that I have to get done. The business is changing, as business does often. And if you don't change with it, then you fail. So
exactly, yep.
Having to pivot and try new stuff, and with trying new stuff, it means that there's a lot of time being spent researching. What the best play is, what's the safest move, what's the riskiest moves, all that stuff, and then actually going out and doing it, changing things on the sites, and so I'm so tired right now. Like, I can't even explain to you. I've probably got I don't even know. I think I slept from 8 to 10 last night, and then that was it.
Man.
Yeah, and the night before wasn't much better, so I'm exhausted. But I'm here. I am here.
There you go. That's the main thing.
That's the main thing. And I put a post up last week. We started a new little segment on the show. I'm gonna try a new drink. Maybe not every week, every other week, but we'll see what happens. I'm gonna try a new drink every week or every other week on the show. Last week we did this wonderful, amazing stuff right here. This Black Cow English strawberries, English vodka made from cow's milk. This stuff is out of this world good. I mean, I don't drink often. Obviously, I had my days when I was younger where we would go out and party. And when I did, I was a vodka guy. That's my drink. I like vodka. So I've had pretty much, I've run the gamut of good vodka, bad vodka, really good vodka, and this vodka is up there with some of the best I've ever had. It's amazing. It's very, very smooth, which is kind of what you would, I guess, think when you think of a vodka made from milk, that it would be smooth, and it is. And that the strawberries, it's not like a sugary sweet. It's just this strawberry touch to it, and it's very, very, very good. Have we changed to Crocked with Kyle? That's a good one. I like that. Crocked with Kyle. I was thinking of a name for the segment actually, and I couldn't come up with anything because my brain's not working right. Brew with the crew or something like that. I don't know.
There you go.
So anyway, I put a poll up. I grabbed 2 IPAs today because I wasn't in the mood for anything hard. And one of them was a local from Rhode Island, Captain's Daughter, and the other one was the winner by a very, very large margin. And that is this Voodoo Ranger Fruit Force Fruit Punch IPA. Never had a fruit punch IPA in my life, but this is what we get. And so we're going to crack this bad boy open. I'm going to drink it out of my ice cold Hellbent Holler glass that I got from Joe and Jesse.
All right.
Right here. And we'll see what this thing's all about. It's 9.5% alcohol. Oh, I love that sound. I don't drink often, but that's still always a very good sound.
I never drank anything stronger than pop.
Never.
But Pop would drink anything.
That's really funny because my father is a raging alcoholic. There ain't a whole lot he wouldn't put into his body. Oh, this smells incredible. I can tell you that right now. Oh yeah, that smells really good. Oh, I didn't pour that perfectly, but that's all right.
My grandfather, my daddy's father, he was a moonshiner. He made his own moonshine and made his homebrew. And Daddy never drank too much. There in the last few years, he'd have a cold or something. I'd carry him over maybe a fifth of Jack or something like that, for his cold, but then every couple of weeks he'd call me and say, I need some more. It evaporated, You're not putting the top on it tight enough,
That's good. Yeah, that's good.
So how was that first drink? Was it pretty good?
It's pretty good, man. It's pretty good. The front end is really good. The back end, it's not. It's kind of a little bitter, but the front end is really nice. Yeah, that initial.
Just talking about him making the moonshine. I had Daddy had a little brother. Just before Daddy was born, of course. Had a little brother, 6 years old. That they told Daddy always told me that that his brothers had got around a fire and took a large stand and filled it full of water and put the top on it, and the large stand more or less exploded and scalded him to death. And then I got doing a little research and everything, and I thought, yeah, it wasn't a large stand. They had a steel explosion. That's what killed the little boy. He killed in a steel explosion. But I haven't proven that yet. But knowing they were making moonshine and he got scalded and everything, I'm gonna say that's probably what happened to him.
Gosh, that's terrible.
It just says, as death certificate just says scalded. That's all it says.
Jeez Louise. Is that a sissy drink? What exactly is it? It is this. It is Voodoo Ranger Fruit Force Fruit Punch IPA.
You said Doo-Doo Ranger.
Nope, Voodoo. It's Fruit Punch IPA. Here's the sucky part, okay? You used to be able to go into package stores around here and break up Yes. Yes.
Come in there, salty.
Be honest with you, I like the back end of mine better. But so you used to be able to go into package stores around here, and you used to be able to split up 6-packs. You used to be able to reach in, grab one out of any 6-pack you wanted, and you could mix up. You could grab one from this one from this one from this one, and make your own. Now, a lot of these stores don't let you do that, and then they only have certain stuff in the singles case, and it's not a large selection. So if you want to try something, it's like you got to buy a $16, $18, $19 4-pack of IPA or cider, and then, God forbid it sucks. Then you're stuck with three others or 3.5 others that are terrible. You know what I'm saying? So I went in and I went to I walked around the store. It's a massive store. I mean, the selections in there are crazy. It's just gigantic. And I was looking for a cider because I love cider. It's my favorite. Like I'm not a huge beer guy, but I love cider. And I was looking for cider, and I was like, I'll just get a beer instead. But they just they only had like a few, and so this is one of them. And I never heard of Fruit Force or Fruit Punch IPA in my life. I was like, well, I'll get that, and I'll get just a regular IPA, and let the people decide what we do this week and what we do next week. Yeah, so that's what we got. It's not bad. I just, like I said, that aftertaste it's a little bitter, We me and Lucci got I bought for us when he was up here. Was it the last time? Yeah, it was the last time. A 4-pack of cider, and it was Honey Crisp apple cider, and that stuff was unbelievable. It was absolutely incredible. But IPA is nothing but diuretics for me. Sealed test tubes, so you can try different things. Wow, that's a really good idea, actually. That's a really good idea. Huh. I wonder why they don't do that here. But that's a great idea. Yeah, I don't know. We used to be able to just split stuff up, man. I don't know why they don't do that anymore. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because it's a pain in the ass for them to like restock stuff or have to cash it out, and they have to make up a price point for each one instead of just running the scan on the whole box or whatever. I don't know. Whatever the case. But yeah, it's good. It's not as heavy as some IPAs I've had. So that's a good thing, because my IPAs can be really heavy. That first taste is very good, but the aftertaste is pretty bitter, and I don't like that a lot. But it's here. I got to drink it. So it'd be alcohol abuse not to.
There you go.
Plus, I need it, honestly. And I could use a drink right now. So, let's talk. What do you want to talk about?
Let's talk about ghosts.
You sure about that?
Why
You
not?
want to talk about ghosts? You want to talk about a ghost that called me a pretty terrible name?
He just wanted a cigarette.
Well, that might be, but he didn't sound like he was speaking in Old English to me.
I've got to go back and listen to that too. I haven't listened to those sounds yet. I've been so busy with this weather and everything else. So
It sucks. Okay, so I have a Zoom H1N recorder. It's a really, really good recorder for for a handheld in the field recorder. It's got omnidirectional microphones. It picks up low level frequency sounds and stuff like that. But for whatever reason, mine is giving me all kinds of issues. All the audio that I got from that night in the cemetery is all like contaminated with these like scratchy sounds, and I'm wondering if the scratchy sounds are RF interference
Could be. Could it be?
from all the stuff that I had running there. I
You
wonder
might
if
have everything a little bit close together, maybe. But
yeah, because I had it all on me, like basically, or it was
right.
within just a couple feet. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I couldn't get much of anything out of that, which really sucks because I was counting on that for like any EVPs, and I couldn't make heads or tails of any of it. It was just weird. I thought you meant Alabama Slam or screwdrivers. Well, we could do that. Like I said last week, I did the vodka drink. But I didn't want to go hard this week. I just wanted something light, man. Not a big drinker, so you know, this is the only drink I'll have all week is this one beer, and I've only started doing it for the show, essentially, just to add a little bit of something to it. That's all. So anyway, let's get back to this whole thing. Yes, I was called a FAGGOT. It sounded like, and it sounded extremely, extremely clear. I mean, I heard as clear as me and you talking right now. I immediately said it out loud. Did he just call me a? And I was like, oh my God, I shouldn't have said that out loud. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said that. But it was so surprising, and I was like, what the hell just happened?
Joe is here.
Oh, great.
Hello, Joe.
Stupor. Joe. Yeah, here's to Joe, dickhead. The guy who's trying to get me possessed that whole night. He's speaking in Latin and tongues and telling whatever spirits are there, please take this vessel and use it as you will. Such a good friend, that guy. You know, he's such a good friend. Then he goes and puts his premiere on Tuesday night at 7:30. Who's usually on Tuesdays at 7:05? It's these YouTube celebrities, God damn it. You see what they do? They step on the little guy. They don't even think about the little guy. He knows I'm joking. I love them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love them.
Yes.
What's up, Henry?
I enjoyed watching the shows too. They were good.
They were very good. Yeah.
I just sat back in. I had a headache last night, and I just kind of just sit back in my recliner and watched it on the big screen. I didn't even go into the chat or anything. I just watched everybody else.
Yeah, sometimes it's nice to do that because you can just pay attention to the show. Like,
yeah.
To all my Wednesday night premiere starting now. What a jerk. See you later, everybody.
Yeah.
So he sent me over the some of the audio today, actually, from that. And man, is it strange. That stuff, it's just so weird. It's so weird. And I don't, to me, I feel like I'm hearing everything from Native American language to like Sasquatch gibberish. That's what it sounds like to me. But I don't know. It's strange. Very strange. But anyway, they've had their time. We're not talking about them anymore. They've got enough. Damn it. I fell asleep. Did wake up till 10:30. My mod status bombed last night. Oh, that's all right. Just YouTube. So yeah, I got called a name. It seemed like the only other things that I heard on the speaker on the spirit box that night were I thought I heard the name Robert twice, and then possibly James once, and that was it. I didn't hear anything else clear. But I think part of that was the fact that I didn't have that amp and those pedals tweaked the right way. And that amp sucks, by the way. That little tiny honey tone amp. It's $23. I mean, it's this big. It's tiny. It's not good. So I am actually rebuilding the Spirit Portal now with a better speaker better pedals, and more in the way that it was originally built by whatever that guy. His last name was Huff. He's supposed to be the guy who built the first Spirit portal box. So I'm building it in the way that he built the original. And I've been messing with all the stuff on the amps because I'm not a guitar player, so I don't know how a lot of that stuff works. I don't know what gain and tone and all that stuff means and does. So I've been playing with it and figuring it out and getting things a lot more clear than they were that night. So we'll go back out again, hopefully in a few days. The problem is that we've just had rain here, rain. So
yeah, I'm gonna try to build a noise gate and a reverb all together as one unit, be powered off one battery. I'm still waiting on a few little parts to come in to do that with. I've got the schematics for both of them, and I thought I had a good connection on maybe getting some that one of my friends had. He's the lead guitar player and one of the singers in the group Alan Parsons Project.
oh,
He lives right down the road from me, and I thought maybe he may have a few those reverbs, maybe, or maybe a noise gate laying around, but said he had them all in use, so he didn't want to give one of them up.
yeah. Well, I guess as a musician, you're going to use them, and those guys
Oh,
kind of collect their musical equipment, most of them anyway. A lot of that stuff you never know years from now how much it'll be worth or whatever. But yeah, it's interesting. There's a guy that I watch on YouTube who builds these really cool ones out of like antique radios.
Mm-hmm.
The old cathedral style radios?
Yeah.
Those. He makes them and they are so cool, man. Everything's built in so you don't see the pedals, the noise gate pedals or anything. You just have the knobs on the front.
Right.
And then in those cathedral radios down near the bottom, there was usually this dial, like a tuner, and it was a circular tuner. And in place of that tuner, that plasma ball you have?
Mm-hmm.
In place of that tuner, he has a plasma plate, a circle. It's flat and it's circular. And the lightning goes like in every direction and it's voice activated. And it looks so cool.
Huh.
Yeah, you got to look that up. It looks very cool, man. So that guy makes them. Infrareddy is the name. Infrareddy Ghost Hunting. He does a pretty good. He does a good job. He's probably one of the better ones out there that I've seen so far.
Yeah, I've got a couple of those old radios, but they're old. They're antiques. But you shoot, it's probably a 1.5 feet wide and a foot deep, probably. So it'd be too big to carry around. You'd do that with, but I think it'd be neat to take an old radio and do that with.
Yeah,
I like to repurpose stuff anyway. This is my static detector.
Yeah, that thing's awesome.
Anyway, it'll detect static because I hang it in my hand right now. But I recycled that from an old remote control, radio controlled little car.
Yep.
Put all the electronics in it and put the antennas on it, and that's one of them I'm working on. I got one more I've been working on. I hadn't got it developed completely yet. This is a 10 LED ghost detector. It's kind of like your K2, but it's got 10 LEDs instead of just 4.
Oh, very cool.
I'm still working. It's the sensitive that I can't use it here in the house because my Wi-Fi sets it off. So I got to figure out some way to detune it some and maybe put a pod or something in it where I can tune it down a little bit where I can get it to work in the house.
Very cool.
That's one of my projects I'm working on.
That's very cool. Wow. You know what you should do? That static meter. You remember? The PKE meter from Ghostbusters that they would hold in their hands.
Yeah.
That's what you should. Take the adult toy version of that, and turn it into that thing.
I looked at one at Walmart the other day, and I almost got it.
Oh, so cool, man!
So, yeah, they got the little ghost trap.
Yes.
And I got a few little things like that. I'm gonna try to incorporate.
I think it's really cool, and the other part of that
I'm gonna try to find something to do with this. I know I can put LEDs in eyeballs, maybe one in the nose. I don't know why. I'm still trying to come up with ideas on that.
Oh, you could do the you could do the make turn into a shadow detector.
Yeah.
When it sees a shadow, the eyes light up.
This is my REM pod.
Yep. Was it say spiky?
Spirit.
Oh.
Specialized paranormal investigation, research, and investigation team. That's a
Okay.
mouthful. That's a mouthful.
That is a mouthful. My gosh.
But that's an old realistic weather radio
Okay.
that I picked up at the flea market one day. It didn't work, so I went ahead and just stripped it out. And that's my problem with trying to find stuff to put stuff in. I got the good ideas. So I just poked him in the eye. I hope it didn't
Um,
hurt. Anyway, that's a few little things I'm working on. I
yeah,
order
those things
little
are cool.
electronics just every few days, and I think Amazon's got me on speed dial.
Yeah, trust me, I feel you. I've been there
Oh, I was
lately.
going to ask you. I read somewhere. I don't know if you heard it. If you've done much research on the ghost box. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. Um, I heard if you actually used it inside your house, that you
Mhm.
could be inviting stuff to come into your house.
That's what they say.
And I wondered, like, by broadcasting it on YouTube, will that have the same effect? I mean,
It depends on who you talk to, right? It depends
why
on
I
who you
was
ask.
asking was I have seen, me and D both have seen increased shadow figures in the house since that night. Yeah, maybe it be just a fluke. I don't know, but
Well, here's the thing, right?
I'm just kind of curious about that. But
Depending on who you talk to, you'll get
yeah,
different answers, right? So, what's up, Sean? Thanks for coming by, buddy. Hey, Bobby, how are you? Uh, so certain people will tell you, no, it's not possible because it's got to be in in your presence, like in the house to do that. But some of these ghost shows, if you watch them, they'll say in the beginning, like, we are not responsible for anything that happens to you, or they'll even warn people like the place we're going to is super negative. We've had people in the past say that they've had things happen after watching the show like this. So if you're worried about that, turn it off now.
yeah,
Um,
exactly. Yeah,
so no, it's like six in one, half a dozen in the other, man. It just depends on who you talk to. I think when you're talking about spirits, I don't think there's many boundaries. I mean,
yeah, it's
they live in an ethereal realm. They don't
right,
have the same boundaries and
right.
constructs and
They don't have
that
the
we
same
do.
rules we have.
Exactly. So I would imagine that if they wanted to, they could pop up, man. They could pop up. You know. God, I shouldn't. I guess I shouldn't play with that spirit box in the house then.
No,
Jeez.
I've used mine in the house here a couple, 3 times, but they say if you're going to do it in the house, use the headphones or nothing else can hear it. They say, but I don't know it. Like you said, it's not a science. Is everything's all still experimental? So who knows?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So anyone's guess is as good as yours or mine. These people who say, "Oh, definitely it can come into your house if you use it," or "No, it definitely can't." No one knows. It's all conjecture. It's all theory. It's all guesses. So I always tell people, like, whenever anyone says anything like that, I always say, well, you just do whatever it is that makes you comfortable. That's just kind of how it works for me, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
I
I've
turn that
always
thing on and I don't like, I turn it on for a couple minutes to try to see if I can get the tone right. And then I turn that right off. I don't
yeah,
ask any questions. I don't do any of that bull. I'm trying to get the tone and the reverb and the bass and all that correct. So that when I go out next time, it's working right. You could bring them in because you were trying to communicate. Yeah, I think that's a good. Sean says he believes that if things are near, you could bring them in because you're trying to communicate. I think that's what I've heard the most throughout this
Yeah.
is that when you start to purposely communicate, that's when an invitation is given, essentially. Like when you start to ask questions, that's when the invitation's given. And at that moment, you've opened the door.
Yeah.
So I guess if you're just turning it on and messing with it and not saying anything just to try to fine tune things, then you'd probably be okay. But I don't know if playing it through the TV, if we're watching somebody on TV doing it, I don't think that the people on the other side would get that stuff.
Yeah. It just a thought crossed my mind, you know.
Yeah, no, I get it. And I understand why.
I guess I could call my old buddy Zach Baggins and ask him, I guess.
Oh, yeah, right. Good. You call him up. You can tell him exactly how I feel about him.
Exactly. Yeah. That's why I wouldn't call him up yet.
I like Aaron. I've always liked Aaron.
Oh, yeah.
I always
He's
felt
the
like,
go-to guy. He has to do all the work.
yep. I always felt like if Aaron had his own show, it would be a lot different than that, you know. You got to try spirit box while Bigfoot hunting. Not necessarily, but we did try the spirit box, me and Lucci, when we were out in an area that has reports of both, and we got those knocks, which was crazy. We got those 2 knocks back to back. So, you know, who knows, man? If these things, we don't know if Bigfoot are bound by the same laws as us yet either. So,
yeah, exactly.
I think when you're dealing with anything that's kind of cryptid or paranormal, you're dealing with stuff that kind of walks a fine line. And that's when you have to try all kinds of weird stuff and see if it attracts things.
Yeah.
Right. You know, weird stuff like lights in the woods, a plasma ball that gives off a high EMF signal, playing strange radio frequencies, you know, all that stuff, man, all of it. Same as, you know, knocking on trees. Like we can say, oh, it's so old, blah, 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 but there's evidence that it's worked before. So, you know,
yeah,
why would we shut it down?
Exactly. I know when Dee and I used to go get out pretty regular and go do some ghost hunting. We more or less concentrated on people calling us to come to their house. You know, they have something going on in the house or something, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And always had made them sign a waiver.
Yep.
Before we did anything, you know, telling them, you know, that, you know, well, I'm not responsible. If I fall and get hurt, you know, I'm not going to sue you, you know, or if I do something, you get hurt, you're not going to sue me. But the main thing is to let them know that once you do an investigation, the activity could pick up significantly after that. You know, you can get something started, you know, and it may continue for a while. So just kind of let them know about that, you know, before I even proceed with anything, you know. So they can say yay or nay then, you know. And
yep, absolutely. That's a very good idea. You never know what's going to happen when you leave. That's the problem.
Exactly. Yeah, you're right.
You could stir stuff up. You could get it mad. It could be angry that they invited you in.
Yeah.
Whatever's in there. And then after you leave, whatever's there goes, you know, ham for a couple weeks on the homeowners again. And they're like, what the hell did you do in my house? What did you do in my house? You know? Yeah, that's a smart idea. Very smart. One of the things that you hear quite often with the spirit stuff is, you know, when people start changing things, when they start doing housework or renovations or anything like that, that stirs it up. That stirs it up.
Yes, it does.
Yep.
Any kind of remodeling or anything like that usually make them pretty active. They don't like change, evidently, you know. So, or they're used to having it that way for years and years, and then you come in and put a wall up, you know, or knock a wall down or something, you know, and they may not like that, you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, if it was their house for their whole life,
yeah,
and then all of a sudden here you are just tearing through it, changing things, and they're stuck there for whatever reason. It would piss me off. I'd get angry.
Oh yeah.
What am I drinking here tonight? Joe, if you were a real friend and you paid attention to the channel, you would have saw the post and the poll that gave you the option to choose what I drank tonight. You would have saw the beginning of the show that showed twice what I'm drinking here tonight. But you celebrity YouTube folks, you come and go as you please. That's how it works.
What about tequila?
Tequila? No, I can't drink tequila. Me and tequila do not.
Tequila is kind of like beer.
It is not like beer. Not at all like beer. When I drink beer,
that was a quote from Three Amigos.
Okay, well, the Three Amigos are wrong. When I drink beer, I usually get pretty giddy and happy. When I drink tequila, I turn into
Fall off.
a fire-breathing monster. Like not an angry person, but I get extremely wild. Like real, there's just no pumping the brakes at all. I'm very, very, you just don't know what's going to happen. So we don't do tequila. I learned that a long time ago. Keep it away from me. Joe, I'm only joking, buddy. It's called Voodoo Ranger Fruit Force Fruit Punch IPA. I picked up two single tall boys of IPA today, and they didn't have a whole large selection, so I picked one different one and then one just regular. And I put up a poll and asked people what they wanted to see me drink first. So there he is. What's up, Mikey, buddy? How are you, man? I was talking about the ciders a little earlier. That's my favorite. I love the cider. Yeah. I'm trying to switch it up so that there's something different, each time. Last week, the vodka. This week, IPA. Next week, I'll probably do another IPA, and then I'll switch back to some cider after that. I do love the cider. It's very good. Tequila makes your pants fall off. Tequila makes handcuffs fall on. That's what tequila does to me. Yeah. That and I drank a load of tequila when I was in Las Vegas one time, and I got pretty blackout drunk. Somehow found my way from the club outside the casino. I don't remember any of that. I was out of it completely. And there was a big line for cabs. It was long as hell. It was a Saturday night. The clubs were crazy. And I ended up like sitting down on the ground, leaning up against the casino, just, miserable, wanting to get back to my hotel room. And some guy comes up to me and he goes, "You need a ride, partner?" I said, "Yeah, but the line's so long." He's like, "I can get you a ride right now." I said, "You can?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Well, how are you going to do that?" And he's like, "In that limo." I said, "You drive that limo?" And he goes, "Yeah, I drive it." I said, "All right, let's do it." So I get in the limo, and he was like, "All right, where you going?" I said, "The Aladdin." He goes, "The Aladdin?" I said, "Yeah, the Aladdin." So, okay, that's going to be $100. I said, "All right, no problem." Give him $100. I was in the back seat, like, falling asleep as we're doing this. So I don't know how long the ride took. I remember I gave him $120, gave him a tip. I remember he's like, "All right, you're here." So my eyes open. We're at the hotel. I go inside, pass out. Next morning, I wake up. And me and my buddy were talking about what happened the night before. And I was like, "Yeah, man, I don't know. I paid $120 to take a limo back to the hotel." He goes, "You did what?" I said, "I paid $120 to take a limo back to the hotel." He goes, "The hotel is like 2 blocks from where we were, right?" So $120 to take a limo 2 blocks. I mean, I couldn't have walked it, but it's still pretty bad. And there was a lot of other stuff that went on that night that I did not fit for YouTube, so I'm not going to talk about it on this show right now. But we could tell those stories another time.
It's like I was down in Atlanta. I went to Atlanta in I think about 1970. I went down and took my third class radio phone test to become a DJ on the radio.
Nice.
And I took my test, passed it and everything. But anyway, before I got that far, I was trying to find this place. I asked the guy, I said, how did I find this place to take this test? He said, it's called the Atlanta Gaslight Towers. You can't miss it. It's right on Peachtree Street. Then I get down there and find out that every street in Atlanta has got some kind of Peachtree name in it, you know. Northeast, southwest, little, big, you know, whatever, east, west, you know. In the world I got into. So anyway, I tried to find it, and I finally just pull over and park the car in a parking lot, flagged a taxi cab down, and said, I need to go. I give him the address, you know, I need to go to, you know, the Atlanta Gaslight Towers. So I get in the cab. He goes down about a block down the road, takes a right, goes another block, takes another right. The end of that block takes another right. It brings me right back to where I got in the cab at. Cost me $16. And I was right in front of the building the whole time and didn't know it.
Ain't that a bitch?
Oh, man, it was unreal.
Yeah. You know, Vegas is one of those places that's just, you know, it's like, if you don't live there and you go there, especially in your 20s, everyone becomes an amateur. Everybody, even those of us who think we're pros, right?
Oh yeah.
So $120 to take a limo 2 blocks to go back to my hotel and throw up in a very small garbage can on my bed for the next 3 hours, only to then get up when my buddy who stayed at the club gets back, and then convince him that the strip club was still open at, I think it was whatever time it was like around 1 a.m. It was open till 4. I was like, strip club's still open, let's go. You know, and then taking a cab from there to the strip club at 1 a.m. until they closed at 4 or 5. You know, these are the things you do when you're in Vegas. It's just, it's insane. The place is insane. Then I stole a Segway from a freaking security guard. I took off on the thing. He's trying to chase me down. He had his buddies coming. And here I am. I'm probably like 4 or 5 Jamesons deep. And I'm whoa, just screaming through the hotel on this thing. Oh, it was bad, man. It was bad. But we had a good time. You threw, yeah, that was a great one, Lady Wolf. I wasn't drunk in public. I was drunk in the bar. You threw me into public. Oh, God. Yeah, I don't. This will be the only drink that I have all week, man. I'm only doing it for the show. I don't drink often. I don't go out really at all. Like, I don't go to bars. I don't do any of that anymore. But you know, back in my day, I had a lot of fun. We did a lot of fun things, man. And I don't regret any of that. Not that stuff. Nothing went haywire until the pain pills came along. That's when my life just went upside down. But that's a totally different story for a different time. These are fun stories. That was a living hell. So anyway, let's get back to the topic at hand here, because I don't have all night. So I got called that name. There was a shadow that took off across the field, man. And I've gone back and looked at that footage over and over and over again. Problem is that moment I didn't have any lights on. I had no lights on, and I had them on earlier. And I'm like, I wish that I had kept one on to catch it, because when it moved, you can see it hit the light, but as soon as it starts to move and hit the light, I start following it with the camera. So it looks like I pan, and as I'm panning, there's objects that are blocking light out because the camera's moving. Mm-hmm. When in all actuality, there was no objects in that field except for one tree, one tall, pointy obelisk, and then that was it in the center of that field. And you see 4 or 5 lights as I'm panning get blocked out as it's going. But you can't tell, man. That's so I can't use that as evidence because it's not undeniable. Excuse me. So I don't know how to pull any light out of that to try to show it better, but it was there. It was 100% there. I saw it as clear as day. It was darker than everything in there. It was so dark that I could see it clearly in the dark, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And the way it moved was swiftly with no effort. It just went like it was gliding. That's what it looked like. And so there was that. And what else happened? I think that was about it for when I was there. Nothing else really crazy, just some weird noises that I can't explain. So what do you do with those? Noises that shouldn't have been there, though. That was the thing. They just weren't, they didn't fit in with anything that was going on. These weird tapping noises that sounded like they were tapping on stone. Like the gravestones is what it sounded like to me. And I would scan around, thermal, camera, lights, everything. There was nothing there. So, and those kept happening over and over again. And then I got this one strange image on the Canon when I took the pictures. I'm going to show you right now. If I didn't upload it, so hopefully you can see this, and you probably won't be able to see this very well, but hold on, let me shut this off. So what you're looking at here, there's a orangish colored light there in between the trees.
Uh-huh.
And then on the tree to my left, up above it a little bit, you can see a light in front of the tree. That also is a orangish red color. It's hard to see in this picture, but both of those things showed up in this picture when I took it with the Canon. Both the same color, both kind of transparent. Now, when you look at it on here, it looks like there's a hole in the center of it, but it doesn't look like that in the picture. Both of them are kind of transparent. You can see through them. They're both red, and they weren't there when I took the picture. There's nothing there. I have no idea what they are. They're not any, and there's nothing from anything around the surrounding areas, because if they were lights of some sort, how would it be in front of the tree? And it's in front of the tree. There's no way you could get like a light or a reflector or car light or anything in front of that tree. It's just not possible. We were in the middle of the cemetery. So those two red lights make no sense whatsoever. None. They're see-through, they're in the air, they're in a cluster of trees in front of the tree, and I can't make heads or tails of it. I'm gonna upload them onto the computer. I'm gonna put a post up on the page with those so you can see them better. But it's very strange, man. Very strange. I don't know what to make of any of it. I'm gonna go back. Like I said, when I get the spirit box working better, the rest of the parts come tomorrow. I'll finish building it, and then hopefully maybe this weekend. Let me look at what the weather's going to be like so I can tell you and give you a better idea of when we'll go back out. Let's see. Today, tomorrow, Friday, all rain. Saturday looks like we might be able to go out. Saturday and Monday look like the two most likely days. So let's plan for Saturday night. Right now, looks like there may not be.
Here in downtown
Burbank,
Burbank,
this guy is. So we'll plan for Saturday night. We'll go back out. We'll use the spirit box. We'll use the thermal. It just sucks. I wish I had somebody with me because it's so much easier to do. I always take more than one at a time, Sean, and in the other one there's nothing. I usually hold my finger down on the trigger so that it snaps multiples back to back right away.
Yeah.
just so you have that, so you have something to compare, right?
Right.
Um,
Always make a control photo.
a controlled photo, exactly. And there's nothing in the next two, nothing. They're gone. So it's weird. It's very strange.
Big enough down there.
On envy, what's envy? Henry,
Well,
what's that? I'm not sure what that is.
we
Yeah,
had
it's strange, Salty.
a flash flood warning again. We've had our share of tornado warnings today. We've had 4 today, so all of them come through Springfield. So.
Well, night vision.
Terrible.
I don't have night vision, buddy. I desperately want and need night vision and full spectrum. I need a night vision camera and a full spectrum camera. I know they sell. There's a couple places on like Etsy and eBay that sell the night vision full spectrum setup for like 160, 170 bucks. I do have thermal, but I haven't been able to catch any orbs on thermal. I've heard a lot of things about the full spectrum and the night vision being able to catch some of these weird anomalous light orbs. They also are really good at catching UFOs too. So I'd like to get that soon. I just, man, it's a lot. There's a lot that I've had to spend money on the last couple months, and we'll have to spend money on coming up. So it's difficult to spend it on that right now. I would love to though, but yeah, I don't have any answers for that picture. I really don't. I've looked at it over and over again on the computer. I've changed the filters on it. I've zoomed. I've done everything I could, and I don't have any. I have no answers. None of it makes sense. Like I said, if it was some kind of natural thing, or like a reflector or a car light or something, it wouldn't be in front of the tree. It'd be behind it.
Right.
But it's right in front of the trunk of the tree. It's just, it doesn't make any sense.
You may got caught a couple of spirit orbs, maybe.
That's what, that's the only thing I could think of, because there was the only picture like that. There was no other pictures that had anything like that in them. And you can't see it here, but I'll upload it. You'll see it all. There's another white orb towards the bottom of the screen too. Again, perfectly circular, kind of see-through, pretty large. And then there's a few other little things, maybe white little things. Oh, Julie, thank you so much. You didn't have to do that, honey. Thank you. I appreciate it very, very much. Couple
From
little,
from
huh?
past experience, I have kind of determined that if it's translucent, if you can actually see through it, or
Yeah.
maybe make out a face in it, maybe, or something like that, most time it's dust. But if it's got its own glow to it, like, then if it's got its own glow, then it's most likely it's an orb.
Well, those things were glowing red. I mean, they were lit up. They're brighter than anything else in or around there. That's the thing too, right?
Yeah.
So, it's weird. It's just very weird, man. I was looking into it from what I read. They are basically just removing the IR filter over the sensor.
And it is pouring down rain again. I had to turn the volume up where I could hear you.
So how do you do that? I'll have to look into that. For a full spectrum camera, you have to remove the IR filter over the sensor. Wonder how you do that. That means I'd have to buy a camera first and then risk trying to remove the filter over the sensor and ruining the camera.
Yeah.
Instead of just
Best
paying
just go ahead and
$160
get
to
you
get
one
one.
already fixed up and ready to go and be done with it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not handy like Dewey. I don't know all this stuff, man. I can.
I had looked at doing one, removing the filter, but they had a YouTube channel about it, but it just pretty complicated. So I didn't want to tear a camera up, so I didn't fool with it. I went ahead and just bought one.
I don't blame you. Not at all. Hold on one sec.
I got my night vision off of Amazon. It wasn't that bad either. They had them on sale, and I first got it, took it outside and tried it out. It was way before daylight, but you could look out through it and you could actually see everything. Everything was in full color, and it was amazing what you could see with the thing. Even though it was dark outside.
They make some really good ones now, man. They used to be really crappy back in the day, but they make some pretty good ones now. The problem is that it's this thing. Like once I used Alex's psionics and saw what that thing could see, it's like I'd rather try to save the money and buy that than buy anything else, because that thing is incredible. The depth, the distance, the detail. I mean, it is absolutely insane what that thing could see. We were in that spruce forest that night when we were out Bigfoot hunting in New Hampshire up by the Canadian border, and it was, I mean, so black you couldn't see your hand in front of your face. And I felt like I was out during daytime. Like I could see everything around us. It was so incredible. It's the same thing with the thermals, man. When most of us Bigfooters or ghost hunters who are doing this, we're buying these low-level thermals for civilians, and they cost like $400, $500, $600, whatever. They're very rudimentary. They do their job, but only to a very low degree. So when you using the I forget the name of the one that Alex has, that Small Town Monsters bought, but it's a $4,500 thermal versus a $600 thermal that I have. You talk about, it's night and day. That thing can see for probably I don't know, 600 to 1,000 yards. You could see every stick in the forest, everything. You could see every detail possible. Where mine, you could see 250 yards, and at that distance, you don't know what you're looking at. You can only tell if it's alive with a heat signature or not. That's it. You know what I'm saying? So it does its job, but it's just, there's levels to this stuff, man. There's just levels to this stuff. And most of us who do this, we don't, we love this stuff, but we're not millionaires. We don't have the money to continuously buy this equipment, upgrade and fix it. And it's just difficult, man. It's difficult.
I just posted a link to the night vision that I've got. I got it off Amazon. It was a little bit pricey. It was like $199, but it's a good one. It does a good job. So
that's not bad. $199. That's not bad. I mean, it's a little pricey. That psionics is $400, man. It's $400. But it, like I said, it does. It's amazing. It really is. So yeah. So anyway, that was what happened at the cemetery. We're gonna go back. I'm gonna try to do the other one here in New London, the Antientist. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Burial ground. It's even older than that other cemetery that we were at. Dates back to like 1640 something, I believe. There's a lot of stories around that place and the Hempstead House, which is right up the road from it. Being haunted. I actually just sent a couple emails out yesterday to some indoor places, some houses, some historical houses, a library that's supposed to be haunted nearby, and a couple other spots in Rhode Island that are supposed to be haunted, to see if we can get inside these places and do some indoor ghost investigations. Lucci actually is going to come with me on those, hopefully, if we can coordinate that when he gets back from Kentucky. And because doing it inside too, that's the best. Like, obviously outside's fun, but doing it inside, you don't have to worry about the human element. You know what I'm saying? You're in there by yourself. There's no humans in there. You're locked down. You have that, at least that element of safety. So if there's any other noise going on and there's no one in there, then that it's probably something weird. So we'll see. Hopefully those places will get back to me and they'll allow us to go in and do some investigating in there.
There you go.
I've not given up on the Bigfoot thing. I don't want anyone to think that, but it gets difficult to do. It gets very difficult to do. It's in this area, it's hard. The more that I've researched around here, the more that I believe that they move around a bit. I don't think that they're in one spot all the time here, and it's hard to try to follow where they are. We have a pretty good idea of the areas they are because it coordinates with the areas that have the most rainfall. The towns with the most rainfall are the towns on the Bigfoot Mapping Project map and the BFRO map with the most sightings. And that's the fact. That is a fact. And so we're trying to work on narrowing down some of these areas, but it's difficult, and that's definitely not something that I'll do at night by myself. Doing it during the daytime, sometimes you have stuff happen. It's rare. Doing it at night, I think it enhances your chances of getting stuff because I think they tend to move around more and do things then. So we're working on stuff. I plan on any collabs with Mike or Joe in the near future. You mean who? Lucci? Is that who you mean? And then Joe is in like Joe from Hellbent? If you find anything, there may not be humans in those inside locations. Maybe not. Yeah, let's see. What's my favorite place to investigate? Oh, that's a great question, Julie. That's a great question. I don't know that I can narrow it down to one. I think there's a couple for different reasons. So when Alex, Brian, and myself took the trip up to the Canadian border in New Hampshire back in, what was it, October or November, to look for the wood devils, that place was so fun because the forest was so beautiful. It was just the coolest forest. That spruce forest was like nothing I'd ever seen in New England. It was gorgeous. It looked like you were somewhere out in Washington State or Oregon, or out in the Sierras. I mean, it was just amazing. So for that reason, that was a favorite of mine. My favorite place to investigate Sasquatch is gotta be up by Octopus, who's talking about here in Woodnocks right now. That area between Woodstock County, Connecticut, Douglas, Mendon, Uxbridge, Massachusetts, it seems to be a corridor for these guys. It's also, again, an area with the highest amount of rainfall in the state of Connecticut and one of the highest amounts of rainfall in the state of Massachusetts. And there's a correlation there. So as far as investigating and getting evidence and activity, that is my favorite place because that's the place that I've gotten multiple tracks. I got the crazy audio last year, the same day that I found the 2 trackways. I got the screams. I got Bluff Charge there. Amazing area. Amazing. It shocked me. I would never have thought. Never in a million years. Hey, Bigfoot Lake. How are you, buddy? Oh, if you guys don't subscribe to Bigfoot Lake and his wife, Lake Fairy, please go subscribe to them. They're wonderful, wonderful folks. They do.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, they're wonderful folks. He does a like a service every week on the channel, and they do everything from, he does his Bigfoot stuff. They do some prepping stuff once in a while, and then he does his like Bible reading and stuff too. So go subscribe. They're wonderful folks, really. Some of the just salt of the earth. So those are 2 of my favorite places for that. Paranormal. I started doing that a long time ago before I did the Bigfoot stuff. And I would say, oh boy, Norwich State Hospital scared the ever-living Jesus out of me. There you go. There's your answer. Norwich State Hospital is the scariest place I've ever been in my life. it scared the bejesus out of me. We were in our early 20s, early to mid 20s. Most of the buildings were still up. They hadn't torn them down yet. They hadn't been sold. And it was at the operating time, it was one of the largest insane asylums in the country. It was closed down, I believe, in 1994, and then they just kind of released most of the patients into the wild, essentially. The really bad ones, like the criminally insane, went to a couple other psychiatric facilities that were still open in the state, but the state was taking away money and funding, and so a lot of the places were closing down. So most of these folks were just like, see you later, bye. And they still exist. I don't, because I don't want to say live. They're not really not living life. They're existing. Most of them are struggling, homeless, drunks, addicts, because they have mental health issues that are going untreated in the surrounding areas. But anyway, that place, we broke in on 2 occasions, and on both occasions we ran out. I mean, ran. And then you're talking about a younger Kyle who was in his 20s. I'm not trying to brag, but this is back when I was a fighter. I was a specimen a little bit back then. I was 6'3", 230 pounds, like in my prime, fighting for fun in a cage. Not a whole lot scared me. We ran out of that place both times. We heard the craziest voices, saw the craziest shadows, and the loudest noises. It just was scary, man. Something about it didn't feel right. Like, just got out of there. Your turn, Dewey.
I was just thinking about something I was going to talk about, but let's see here. Been the scariest place. I'm gonna say probably Civil War battlefield. Shiloh, one of the bloodiest battles in the war. We've been there a few times, and I got a few EVPs off some of the mass graves that are down there, and we actually seen we thought it was as a reenactor when we first saw it, and looked, and he was standing up there by a mailbox, but not a mailbox, but a post up there, and like a reenactor dressed in in a Confederate uniform, gray uniform and everything. And so D says, "There's a guy standing up there." So I look and see, yeah, it is. So I'm trying to get a picture of him, trying to zoom in, and I make a picture, and I look, and he's gone, and he didn't even show up in the film, but he was sure standing there. We both saw him. So that was one of the places. We had this old home right outside of Springfield, and it was a old building. It was used during the Civil War as a hospital. It was a recruiting station. It was a post office. It was an old hospital, an orphanage, just all kind of uses through its life. And that place was creepy. I mean, I wanted to go in it so bad, but I couldn't bring myself to go inside it. And in fact, it had such a negative feeling to it that Dee wouldn't even walk up in the yard. She stood out there by the truck on the side of the road, and she wouldn't even come on the property. She said it was just too negative for her. And I walked back, and behind the house, there's a little cemetery back there with 2 graves in it. And I go back to the graveyard, I hear her calling me. So she says, "Get up here quick." So I run up there, and she says, "You missed it." She says, "Most of them are still there. Part of them are gone." But she said, "Your truck was covered up with flies. I mean, flies just covered my truck up completely." And before I got there, a lot of them had left. But she says, "I think we need to go." I said, "Well, if that's the way you feel, that's what we'll do." So we did. We got in the truck and left. But that place was
Jeez.
very creepy.
There were flies on your truck? Is that what you said? There were flies covering your truck?
Yes, black flies.
Nope. Hell no. I
Yeah,
read
yeah,
about that in the
yeah.
Amityville Horror, brother. Nope. I'm out of there.
I wanted to go back and do some more research on there, but I didn't get to. A bunch of kids got out one night, and arsonist, I guess, and set the thing on fire. They burnt like 3 buildings that night, and they one of them was an old church that we used to live close by, and one of them was that the old we call it stagecoach house. And then they burned a house I used to live in Guthrie, all the same night. And I thought it kind of odd, 3 fires at one time. I was kind of associated with all of them, but I didn't do it.
I didn't do it.
Yeah, I didn't do it. My story, I'm sticking to it, but
Oh gosh.
but I've had
What
some creepy feelings in some of the cemeteries and all, but nothing, nothing really terrifying or anything. I'd
I
like to
think
go
it's
back to the
hard
old.
for people who don't go, like the feelings that you get, when you do this stuff enough, you learn to separate what a typical, like, oh, all right, it's creepy, from, all right, there's something going on here. Like, there's a difference between it's creepy here and there's something going on here.
Yeah.
The feelings you get are very different. It's a very heavy feeling when you know that there's something going on or wrong or spirits there or whatever. It's like it sticks to you. That's how I can describe it. It's like it sticks to your skin. It's weird.
I've got an old cemetery down the road from me that he was I guess he'd be my great grand nephew. He was killed in the 1845. A couple of his slaves killed him with an axe, and he's buried in a little cemetery. And we went there. Oh, we've been there a couple of times. That's the first cemetery I ever spent the night. I almost spent the night in. He got up pretty late, and we decided we'd leave before somebody called the law on us. But it's real secluded. It's back up underneath a bunch of pine trees, and I want to go back again, but I'm gonna wait and do it in the wintertime because with all those trees and everything, it's kind of overgrown. I guess the ticks would eat you alive in that thing, So maybe we go back maybe this winter, maybe, and might do an overnight on that thing. Maybe I don't know.
You should do it. You should do. Maybe you should. What you should do is you should get a hold of Mike Lucci when he gets down there at the end of the month.
Yeah.
Do it with him.
Yep.
To answer your question, Bernie, as far as Mike, yeah, me and Mike Mike's like my closest buddy, man. He's my best friend, probably. He only lives about an hour and a half away, and he loves doing this stuff as much as I do. So anytime that he's got to do anything, he's ready to go. So we're already planning stuff right now. We're working on stuff. He's going to Kentucky at the end of this month for a week to do some stuff in the caves down there, which is amazing. We're trying to get him hooked up with Dewey while he's down there. And then when he comes back, we are potentially going to hopefully either have one of these places inside to investigate or try to hit some of these other places outside to investigate that we've got lined up. I really want to try to go investigate the sites where some of the girls that Michael Ross, who was a serial killer in Connecticut back in like the 80s, where he dumped the bodies. There's stories about some of those areas being pretty active. So I want to go try those places and see if we can't get some answers from some of these girls. That would be incredible. We've also talked about doing some stuff with missing persons cases and the spirit box and stuff to see if we can't get answers there. So we've got a lot of stuff planned. As far as Joe goes, I've been trying to get Joe and Jesse here since the very first time that we talked. And Joe is talking about potentially coming in the fall. Potentially. If he does come in the fall, we are going directly to the Bridgewater Triangle. It's the first place we're going. We're going to Freetown State Forest because it's right up their alley. It's weird. It's dark. It's spooky. It's crazy. It's occult. It's all the shit that they love. And then end of the summer, RPG. If you guys know, RPG is from Outcast Paranormal, from Finding Bigfoot, Expedition Bigfoot. He's a buddy. His family lives in Rhode Island, not far from me. And he's coming up here for the whole month of August. So in August, we're getting together, whether it's just me and him or me, him, Lucci, and a couple other people. excuse me, to also do some stuff, both in the Bridgewater Triangle and other places. To get to Hope's question, what place underperformed? Quite a few. There's been quite a few places that have underperformed that, that people made a big deal about, and I didn't really have much of nothing like happened there. Like the Catskills, nothing. There was I got no weird feelings, like no signs of anything really, that there was anything going on there. Bigfoot wise. Seaside Sanatorium I've been in once and didn't, and that place is supposed to be super haunted. I've taken the camera there a couple times. It's down by the beach. You guys have seen it on the lives. They call it what's that movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, where he was in the mental hospital? He was the cop. He went to the mental hospital to investigate with Mark Ruffalo. What the hell's the name of that movie? It's a great movie. Somebody help me out here.
I'm not
Come
familiar
on.
with that one. I was going to say Titanic, too.
No, God, no. Shutter Island. It's a great movie. It's a psychological thriller. It's great. But they call Seaside Sanatorium the Shutter Island of Connecticut. And it's supposed to be extremely haunted. I've been there once at night, and I didn't feel anything. But other people have had all kinds of things happen. So maybe it was just the night I went. I don't know. And then we also went to a local house that nobody would know about that was supposed to be like this just terrible place. Nothing. I got nothing. So it happens. It's just kind of the way things go with this stuff. What about you, Dewey? Any place underperformed for you?
I've been to a couple, 3 little cemeteries and things like that, and maybe a couple of private residences, but didn't really find much. We got a little bit, but it wasn't anything to brag about,
Yeah.
People say they see something, and then I went to a guy's house one time, and he was seeing this woman floating, like she was just levitating against the wall of his house. And he found out later, but he found out beforehand, before he moved, he had an upstairs apartment. He wanted the downstairs apartment. So the lady downstairs actually died in that apartment. And once, then he applied for the apartment and got it, and he moved down there. Well, he had this in the back of his mind that this woman had died there, So he had called us in, wanted us to come in and see if we could find something. And we made a few pictures and everything, And we didn't really get anything. Got a couple, 3 little small EVPs, but it wasn't nothing, nothing major. And then went back there in the bedroom back there where he was supposed to see something in the hallway. And I just happened to look on the table there, and there was a big box, looked like a fishing tackle box of all these little compartments and all. And it was his medicine, the thing he kept his medicine in. And it was just full. I mean, I reckon he took medicine 5 or 6 times a day, and I thought, well, he's probably hallucinating more than anything else.
Yeah.
So we didn't find anything, definite or anything, but I did a little research on the lady that passed away there and everything, but he lived there maybe another 6 or 8 months and he passed away, So I
That's the
had
thing. Just because
I
somebody
had
dies somewhere doesn't mean it's haunted by them.
right, exactly,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
People die places all the time. It's
Oh,
just
yeah. And a lot of people think somebody has to die in a house for it to be haunted,
nope.
and that's not true at all.
Nope.
You can bring something in with you, You go to a flea market and buy something, or
Yep.
somebody can give you anything. Mirrors are real bad about that, And mirrors, I think, are portals between, they use mirrors for a portal. Just a lot of old canes, a rocking chair is notorious,
Mhm.
And I've got 2 or 3 here that belong to some of my some of my ancestors, but I've never seen one of them rock by itself or anything like that. So hopefully they're not gonna bother me with that.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I would imagine probably not. We lived in a haunted house when I was a baby. You'd have to talk to my mom about more of that. But I know there was something with the attic. They had one of those weird, the old latch. You lift it up on that like little hook came out, went like
Yeah,
this, and
yeah,
you
yeah.
lift it up, and the latch came over the lock. It was a door like that, and there was stairs up into the attic. It was a stand-up attic, and there was footsteps and stuff up there, I think, and like a chair that would rock back and forth. I believe that's the story. You'd have to talk to her, but the whole house, it was like an old farmhouse. But yeah, so I've been around the shit since I was a baby. Bernie says, I'm putting you on the spot. What's your short list for horror movies, documentaries can be included? Okay. Um, Obviously, The Exorcist was great. I really enjoyed Insidious. I also liked the movie with Ethan Hawke. What was the name of it? I'm gonna look it up now. The new Exorcist movie with the two young girls is pretty darn good too.
You remember The Town That Dreaded Sundown? You remember it?
I don't.
It was that one. The one that really got me the most on my short list is Salem's Lot. You remember it?
I do
About the
remember Salem's
vampires.
Lot.
It scared the hell out of me. I'm not lying.
Sinister with Ethan Hawke. I liked that. That was interesting. A lot of the old stuff was really good. Like The Omen.
Yeah.
The Omen
Yep,
was
The
really
Omen was a
good.
good one.
Shit.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Insidious. Never saw Nefarious. As far as documentaries go, I love watching the documentaries with some of the exorcists, like the real exorcists out there. Love watching stuff like that. I wouldn't say they're horror because it's not like they're Hereditary. God, how did I forget that? Yeah, that was crazy. That movie, crazy, absolutely crazy. That blows all the others away. It still makes me like creepy, weird feeling to think about it. It was bugged out.
Pet Cemetery.
Yep. I mean, of course, I love Halloween. It's my favorite series movie. It's not the scariest movie, but I just love Michael Myers and the story.
Yeah.
It has a lot of nostalgia. So that's my favorite series of like slasher flicks is Halloween. Except for the last two. They sucked. Do not watch Halloween Ends if you haven't watched it by now. Don't watch it. You'd rather have it end with an open ending than with that ending. It was fucking terrible. Yep. So yeah, though that's my list. That's my list. You need to ask Mike. Mike's the horror movie guy. He watches some of the craziest stuff some stuff that I can't even finish. It's so weird. It's so gross. It's so bloody. It's so gory. I mean, the stuff that he watches it's real. Yeah. Yes, Bernie, exactly. Yep. Any of those, the Pope, what was the one, the Pope, that came out with Russell Crowe? I just watched that. That wasn't too bad. That was based on true events too, to a degree. That was pretty good. I like anything that's based on a true story, man. I like anything that's based, even if it's a shitty movie, because at least there's something there that you can potentially take from it, maybe something you can learn from it. But yeah. Somebody asked something else, I believe. These are great questions. This is great.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Have either of us investigated West Virginia? I have not. I've not been down that way. Have you investigated West Virginia?
I went out there to the Logan, for well, Wild and Weird, West Virginia. We had a little conference, a little convention out there, and we just did a little. We did a investigation. We actually did it with Joe and Jesse. We walked back into the. They had some equipment set up. I mean, it wasn't really an investigation. We did hear a couple, 3 things, and I think they seen a couple of things on the thermal, but I've only been out there twice in my whole life. We went to Flatwoods, and then we went to Logan that time, and that's the only time I've spent in West Virginia.
Yeah, I've never been down there.
Going back though.
I've never been down there. I'd like to go down there. Obviously, any of that southern Appalachia area is steeped in history of folklore and witches and all that stuff. So I would love to get down there at some point. I'm going to Tennessee, hopefully in the fall. So I'll get my first taste of that part of the South in the fall. And I'm going to try to go from there to South Carolina to spend a week with Joe and Jesse. That's the plan. So it'll be 2 weeks. It'll be 1 week with my friend Mike, who's got land down there at the bottom of this mountain that's supposed to be very active with Sasquatch for generations. And then to Joe and Jesse to do whatever it is they want to do. I'm going to push them to go to North Georgia. That's where I want to go. So, in a totally fictitious way. Oh, is that real? That's for real? Damn, that sucks. Yeah, that sucks. Father Amorth is a real person for sure, and he's done real exorcisms from what I've read. Yeah. We're not talking about lists, like we're not talking about bucket lists of places we want to go. Somebody just asked if we had investigated that. Of course, there's so many places I want to go. I just
yeah, me too.
I can't afford to do all of it. It's crazy. It costs so much money. Here's the deal, guys. The number one place on my list to go, and it's nothing against anybody else, but it's not just because I have 2 friends who live there now. It's because since I was a child, I've been drawn to this place, and that's the UK. Nothing to do with Bigfoot. Everything to do with the deep, dark, bloody history of that place. You talk about violence and bloody battles and crazy, crazy, crazy stains on the land. The UK is it. It's ancient. It legit is ancient. There's Roman roads that go through the UK where Ben lives. So my number one place to go is the UK, and I am trying to get there within the next year. That's my plan. I want to go there. I want to hang out with Ben and go to the Downs, where it's super crazy, weird, dark place. I want to go meet up with Fresh and go to that weird place that he had all his crazy shit happen. Like, that's my number one place. My number one. What's your number one?
My number one? A good question. I'd like to go to UK myself, but I'd more or less want to go over there for my family ties is over there. My family came from the UK, came from Scotland. I got some from Wales, so I'd like to go to just Ireland,
Mm-hmm.
I've got all that blood in me, and I'd love to go over and just see the homeland, but as far as investigating, I haven't even given it a second thought as far as investigating there,
Think about that. Think about that place. That there's got to be. There's a ton of ghost shows filmed over there, man.
Oh yeah, yeah.
There's so much spiritual energy over there from the stuff that's happened, the bloody, bloody battles and shit that have happened on that land over the years. Like, to me, it's like it's a no-brainer. like some of the places that are by him, you could almost walk out your door and go to any number of places within 10 or 15-minute ride where there's going to be a high level of paranormal activity. So, and not to mention like there's so much cool about the UK. Like the architecture is still really cool. It's old. It's, I don't know. It's just to me, like I've been drawn there since I was a child for many different reasons. So, yeah. Daniel, yes, Daniel. By the way, I don't know if I could say this yet. I don't know if I could say this. He didn't say anything to me if I could or not. We're gonna go with it. I'm interviewing Daniel for his documentary that will be on Netflix, Amazon, and I guess some other stuff. He asked me if I would be his interviewer for an interview in the documentary that he's got coming out. So I am interviewing Daniel in that documentary.
That's neat.
Yeah, I'm very excited to do it. Very excited to do it. Daniel Lee Barnett, great kid. We had him on the show before he exploded and became a Bigfoot superstar. Super smart kid, just a wonderful, wonderful kid. His dad, I got to tell you, his dad is just one of the greatest, man. He's just such a cool guy. His family, that's how every family should treat their children. Every family people should learn from that family right there what to do about fostering your child's dreams. That kid had a passion, and no matter what stood in his way, his family said, "We got your back. Let's do it. You go for it." And now look at the kid. Now look at him. He just turned 15, and he's like conquering the Bigfoot world. So I'm more than happy to do it. He asked me, and I just didn't even think about it. I said, "Sure, absolutely." So be interesting to be my first time in a real documentary. I just said, as long as we can film from here up, I'm good. From the neck up, I'm good. So anyway, yeah, the old castles. Lep Castle is on my bucket list in Ireland, but Ireland it's my homeland. So Ireland and Portugal, that's where my family comes from. Anyhow,
that would be neat.
Yep.
Go to an old castle.
Yep. Lep's supposed to be super haunted with some kind of negative elemental spirit. That it get like physically attacks people. It smells like sulfur when it comes around, which is bad news, right?
Yeah.
So that's a place I'd like to go at some point. It's just any of those ancient lands, man. There's a lot of cool stuff there, a lot of weird stuff there. So I'd love to go.
A lot of history.
A lot of history. If there's history, there's usually some kind of paranormal. It's at some place. But anyway, it's getting late. I've still got stuff I got to do in the computer. And then what's tomorrow? Thursday?
Yep.
Yeah, Thursday. I got it. Oh yeah, crap. And then Friday I start dog sitting for the neighbor lady for a week. Great. So anyway, sorry, I'm thinking out loud. Got anything you want to say? You want to talk about before I cut this thing off? I don't want to shut it off if you got stuff you want to talk about still.
I'm good. Enjoyed chatting with everybody tonight.
Yeah, this was great. This was wonderful. Yeah. I really enjoyed the chat. I enjoyed the questions. Thank you guys for them. It's really
great crowd tonight.
Yeah, we did. This was a great crowd. It really was. I love seeing some of the names in here that have been here the last couple of weeks that I haven't seen for a while. I enjoy it a lot. Makes me feel good. Makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside to see guys.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it do. Because that'd be that drink too, But
it's one beer, man. Look at I still got that much left. Like not like over here pounding them down. Yeah, but so this is wonderful, guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in. Julie, thank you for your donation, sweetie. I really, really appreciate that. You don't have to do that, but it means a lot. Don't, you know.
If it hadn't a storm, I wouldn't have been on here tonight. We were going to my wife had one of her family friends has passed away and was going to the visitation tonight, but a storm coming in and all, and just still coming in. So we thought we'd just wait and go to the visitation in the morning and attend the funeral and take care of that. But,
well, I'm glad you were able to do it, because we had moved it from last night, and then you told me late last night or whatever. I don't even know how late it was. My brain was in the clouds working. You told me last night that you couldn't do it, and I was like, oh my God, don't tell me that. And then tonight you were like, send me the link, and I'm like, oh, thank God. So we went back and forth.
yeah.
But I was glad you were able to do it, man. Always
glad to be here.
Yep. All right, guys, we're getting out of here. If you're anywhere where the storms are, please stay safe, hunker down, get in your basement, wherever you need to go to get away from all that crap. We'll send our love and our prayers to you.
Yeah, we're supposed to have them till about 3 o'clock in the morning, I think, and then they're supposed to move out, but you never know.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
When the government controls the weather, it's hard to tell what they're going to do.
That's very true. It's very true.
They have been seeding clouds, and it's not many days this year it hasn't rained, so what does that tell you?
It's been a lot of rain this year.
It has.
A lot. Yeah. It's crazy, man. I believe anything now.
Oh, yeah. I don't, yeah.
Yeah. There ain't a whole lot of
anything.
Nope. All right, guys. Have a good night. Thanks for tuning in.
Have a good night.
Keep your notification bells on so you know when I'll be able to go out. Like I said, I'm shooting for Saturday, but we'll see. The weather can change on a dime here, so if it does, then we'll have to move it to either Sunday or Monday or whatever. So just keep that notification bell on so you know when we got something going on. Thank you for tuning in.
If you can, when you carry the REM pod, elevate it just a little bit. Get it off the ground and raise it up. Just try to find a flat top stone you can set on maybe or something. Or
all right, I'll do that.
It may help. I've always had good luck. Had them off the ground, but you never know.
I'll put it on. If I go back to that other place, I'll just put it on that big tomb that I was getting in trouble for putting stuff on. All right, guys. I'm out of here. Have a good night. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you later. Peace.
All right, y'all have a good night. Be careful.
Yeah, be careful. Take care, guys.